Okay, 290, now that we've had that little diatribe about where your site is hosted and what it means to host sites for a web class, what I wanted to do was just really quickly show you what you missed when I was setting up your sites. Now, the first most important thing that is happening here, what you see behind me is so this is the portal to HostGator, which is the site that I use to host my domain. So my domain is wolfteachtech.org. I also have rvccis.info. I have a host of other domains, but this is the one where we host your hosted solution. So this is the trunk through which the rest of your sites are going to be hosted. So the first thing you missed is, and I don't want to click through on that page because there was no way I could show without credit card information. And yes, it's true, I can block that off, but I would just assume rather never ever give the internet away to reverse engineer my credit card information. Yes, this comes at a cost. There are dozens and dozens and dozens, if not thousands and thousands, of hosting platforms that you can choose to host your domain. The process is relatively simple. As long as you pay for it, somebody is more than happy to host your domain. No problem. I chose HostGator because as an educator, there was a coupon. So it was 3 years of hosting for like $140 with two of the security toggles that I preferred. So that's not altogether that expensive. There are cheaper plans there, as a matter of fact, but the more expensive plan I went with allows me to create as many subdomains as I would like for you, the student, to be able to host your stuff on. So what you see behind me here is the first of the dashboard panels to creating your sub domains. So I clicked over here on the left hand side on websites, and here are the sites that I have in this trunk already. There are more pages to this. If I scroll down a little bit further, you can see them. I think it's right behind me here. You can see there's the trunk for wolfteachtech.org. As I scroll up, you can see Good Eatin' is a project from a previous year. Happy Tail Adoption Studio is a site from a previous year. There are more other ones of these. These are just the ones you can see on the page behind me. You can also see in the left-hand side, that's over this way, you can also see on the far left is a blank demo. I just wanted to leave that there for one moment so that you could see the path there. So you can see on these other sites behind me, Wolf Teach Tech is the trunk of the domain there, and then / and then your student name. So what I'm going to use is your first initial and your last name, and then a / for site 1, site 2. So you can see that these are here. They are available and they do still exist. Later on, when we get to your final projects, what I'll do is I'll help you explain and detail what you'll do to do two things. One, host it here, and two, because I always believe in an extra layer of security, how you'll be able to actually download the content for your sites into a package, host and change it locally, and then if you choose later on down the line, which I'll encourage you to do, is to self-host your stuff, where and how you might possibly do that. But if you look over here, there, on the left-hand side, you'll see zo.keb.temporary.site. That is the domain, the temporary domain that HostGator set up for me to be able to use this demo. I'm just going to show you on another demo site how this works. So at the top here, you can see add site. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add a site. I want this to install WordPress because this is a WordPress class. So we're going to hit continue. I could use blank and set it up as an FTP server. I could do blank and set up like a Joomla learning management platform if I really wanted to. I don't want to do any of that. So I misspoke there. Joomla is just a hosting platform. It's something like Bootstrap would be. But I don't want to do that. I have used Joomla as a learning management platform before. that's where that whole sentence goes. Here, I just want to install WordPress and continue. Site title, this is where I would add your titles. These are actually things that can change, so I would just give your student name in here. I just want to skip it for now. I don't want to enter a domain. I would be able to do this. I would start with my trunk domain, wolfteachtech.org/, and then your first initial and your last name. That's how that would work. I'm just going to use a temporary domain. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to skip this for now. I just want you to see how fast it is to install WordPress on an empty template on the internet. So this is happening in real time. It takes about 2 minutes for the whole process to complete. The fantastic piece about using a hosted platform as opposed to hosting it yourself, in years past, I'm pointing to it right over here. You can't see it. I have a Mac Pro from 2013 that I've used historically to host student projects. The problem is, honestly, it's a security risk and a management nightmare, and it's kind of turning into a full-time job to manage security for the web. And I have enough full-time jobs as far as I'm concerned. There you go. Before my diatribe is over, the site is already up and running. I don't want to manage all the security stuff anymore. I just want to be able to like hand my credit card over to a company and say, you worry about that stuff for me. That's what HostGator is able to do here. So you can see it over here. The new entry on the far left-hand side is, and you can see the zao.keb.temporary.site is still there again. And now that I hover over it, you can see the full URL for the temporary site. You can see here, if I hover over the other site, that it is in fact different. Those hex keys are different. So this is all the more it takes any longer to start a subdomain, to install WordPress, and to get it hosted. If we were to just go ahead and click on that, it is up and running instantaneously. All of this is inside of the time it took to record this. So that is what you missed when I set up your sites.